In this video, we will talk about how to solve 45, 45, 90 right triangles. So this is a type of triangle that has two 45-degree angles and one 90-degree angle, or a right angle. Now when we have this type of triangle, the two sides of the triangle that touch the 90-degree angle both have the same length. So we can call them a length of x. And if these two sides have a length of x, then the hypotenuse, so the longest side of the triangle, must have a length of x times the square root of 2. So this is the relationship between the sides. So knowing this, let's work through a few problems where we're given the side length of one of the sides of the triangle and we have to find the other two side lengths. All right, let's say we have the following 45, 45, 90 triangle here. We're told that this side length is 7, and we want to figure out what is this side length, so we'll call this x, and what is this side length, we'll call it y. Well, when we have this type of triangle, we said that the two sides of the triangle that touch the 90-degree angle must have the same side length. So if this side is 7, this side must also be 7. So x is going to be equal to 7. Now to find y, the hypotenuse, remember we said it's going to be x, so whatever the side length x is, times the square root of 2. So x is just 7, so it will be 7 times the square root of 2. So that's y. So that's how we can find these two side lengths knowing only this first side length of 7. All right, let's try another example. Let's say we're told that this hypotenuse length is 5 times the square root of 2. How can we find x and y? Well, notice the relationship. If we know the hypotenuse, all we have to do is divide by the square root of 2 to get the side lengths. Because when we divide by the square root of 2, these square root of 2's cancel out and we're just left with x. So in this example, if we divide the hypotenuse by the square root of 2, these root 2's will cancel out and we'll just be left with 5. So x is equal to 5. And y is equal to 5, since these two side lengths are always equal to each other. So that's how we can solve this one. All right, let's try another one. Let's say in this example, we're told that the hypotenuse length is 16, and we want to find x and y. So again, to find x and y, these shorter side lengths, we simply need to divide the hypotenuse by the square root of 2. So 16 divided by the square root of 2, this technically is our final answer, but we usually like to rationalize the denominator, which means get rid of that square root in the denominator. So the way that we do that is we multiply the numerator and the denominator by that square root. So when in the denominator, when we have square root of 2 times the square root of 2, that's just 2. And in the numerator, we have 16 root 2. Now notice 16 divided by 2, that's 8. So this whole thing can just be written as 8 times the square root of 2. So that's what this side length is, 8 times the square root of 2, and this side length is going to be the exact same value, 8 root 2. So that's how we can solve for that one. All right, let's try one last example. Let's say we have this triangle and we're told that this side is 6 root 2. How can we find x and y? Well, we know that x has to be the exact same value as this side, so we can just write 6 root 2 for x. And to find y, the hypotenuse, remember we said that whatever the side length is, just multiply it by the square root of 2 to get the hypotenuse. So to get the hypotenuse, we can say, I'll write it up here, 6 root 2 times the square root of 2. So you'll notice here, the square root of 2 times the square root of 2 is just 2. So really what we have is 6 times 2, which is 12. So y is 12 and x is 6 times the square root of 2.